Hello and a warm welcome to Federal Special Program Capital Beat. A group of 21 parliamentarians belonging to different opposition parties, quote unquote, the India Alliance Group members, have gone to Manipur for 2 days to assess the ground situation in the violence-hit state. One must not forget that Manipur was afflicted with ethnic clashes on May 3rd, and since then, more than 150 people have died, thousands have been displaced, and unspeakable horror stories come out every day. Now, in such a scenario, what difference will this all-party delegation make on the ground? Can it provide the healing touch? But when it comes to the realistic picture, are the heads rolling? What is the government doing? The CBI investigation has started. The center submitted an affidavit in the Supreme Court saying that now the CBI will be investigating the case. So nobody knows as to how quick the solution to Manipur can really come. So that brings us to the million-dollar question. Is Manipur sinking into a deeper crisis? Joining me now is Suhas Chakma, who is the director of the Risks and Rights Analysis Group. Thank you so much, Suhas. We have Samir Purkaista with us, who's a senior journalist with the Federal. Thank you so much, Samir. And we have Sanjay Rana with us, who's the political commentator and the BJP supporter. Thank you, Sanjay, so much for joining. And Suhas, let me begin with you. That what difference can this all-party delegation to Manipur really make on the ground?
See, apart from keeping the issue alive and bring the national attention to the issue, I don't think it can make any difference, because at the end of the day, it's the government of the day, whether at the center or the state level, which has to take action. So opposition parties' role is basically to highlight the problems wherever they are or which deserve the attention of the nation. And that's what is expected of every opposition, whether it's at the level of the center or the state level. And beyond that, I don't think by visiting for a day or two on issues which are so complex, you can find a solution. I think we have to keep one thing in mind, that BJP leadership has not been able to bring and hold a meeting between the BJP MLAs belonging to the Kuki and Meitei communities. So they are not willing to sit across the table. And I am told, I'm not sure how far it is true. Even Congress tried that, where it could be a little bit different from the BJP, so that they could have a meeting between the the Congress MLS belonging to the Meiteis and the Kukis, and the Congress also was not successful. So this tribalism or the tribal conflict which we have in Manipur transcends everything. Religion doesn't matter. Political affiliation doesn't matter. And that is where I think we are at present.
But Suhas, if I may ask you, that the divide is so deep now between the Meiteis and between the Kukis. And you are saying that, the religious affiliation or no affiliation counts at this point of time. So where is the resolution then? How will the resolution be found? CBI investigation can't do anything, neither can the all-party delegation really make a difference. So can we really say that Manipur is headed towards a deeper crisis then?
No, I think we have to look at the history in the Northeast. Nowhere in the Northeast, when you had this kind of conflict, the state had facilitated the transfer of populations. Manipur is the only state in India, in independent India, which facilitated the transfer of the Meiteis from the hill areas to the valley, and from the valley areas, the Kukis, to the hills. So that divisions or that transfer of population is so much complete that even the security forces, or even except those who are serving in the police, even the bureaucrats, civil servants, they all had to flee. They are no longer in the Imphal Valley. So that's why, the question of capital also will come, even if Manipur is to remain united. If you look at it, see, the other transfer of population which had taken place was from Mizoram, where ethnic Bruce had to flee on their own, not state-sponsored. Then they could not go back after a period of, 30 years, and they fled in 1997. And at present, they have been permanently settled in Tripura. The central government gave a huge package. And I was, at one point of time, interlocutor of the government of India on that, started the process of repatriation a little bit, then it collapsed. So if we look at the experience of the Northeast, I do not think there are any solution at this point of time. And in fact, this is not the right time where you could say, or you can talk about ST status for the Métis, autonomy for the cookies, or some kind of separate administrations. All these issues, incite or ignite the violence. We should never forget that when the ceasefire with the NSA and IM was extended to the Naga inhabited areas, wherever they are, the State Assembly of Manipur was burned down by the mob. So the state is helpless before the mob violence, and the government of India knows it. And that is why when the Citizenship Amendment Act came, they did not include the inner line affected areas, because the violence to oppose possible facilities to the Chakmas in Arunachal Pradesh and Mizoram, the center decided not to include inner line permitted states, so that violence doesn't go out of hand, because the state government collapses before the mob violence. So that is why I don't think there are any solution. The only solution at this point of time is basically to have normalcy certain period of time, then see whether some discussion can take place.
Right. Now let me come to Samir, and then I'll come to Sanjay. That Samir, opposition parties were initially thinking that, if they visit Manipur, we do not know whether they'll be allowed to go or not. But earlier also, we've seen people like Sushmita Dev, then TMC also had sent a delegation. Then Swati Malewal, who's the Delhi Women's Commission chief, she also visited the state. Are we going to see any hindrances in this all-party delegation visit? Or is it going to happen smoothly? And then my next question is that apart from the political optics and a political opportunity which will play out, what else do you see coming out from this all-party delegation visit?
If to answer your first question, I don't think there will be much problem this time, and they are, as per the report we received, they have taken helicopter right to Churachandpur. So during Rahul Gandhi's visit, some disturbance took place because the state government was not willing to permit him to go by road, and then he had to come back and take chopper to go to Churachandpur. This time this delegation is anyway taking chopper. That's what we are told. So 20-member delegation. So I don't think there will be much hindrance, because in any case, any kind of law and order problem or any attempt to prevent them will only put the state government in bad light. So I don't think they are going to do that. And as for your second question regarding what they will achieve from this kind of visit, of course, as Subhas rightly pointed out, we cannot expect much from this visit. But then there is also a sense of alienation among both the Métis and the Kuki communities because of Prime Minister's, long silence. So they and then inaction of the governments both at the center and the state, particularly at the center. So this sense of alienation can be mitigated when the MPs and other senior leaders from the mainland go and reach out to them, listen to their problems, both sides, the Métis and the Kukis, what are the problems. So that is one. It will give some kind of healing touch, and then also they can highlight the issues. Many, we have seen how these incidents of atrocities against a woman, it was suppressed for over 75 days, 76 odd days to be precise. So that kind of things, they can go and talk to the people. If there are more such incidents, they can bring it to the light, so that and then put pressure on the government to deliver justice. So this, of course, I don't think this will be just this is just a visit for optics, as the BJP said that this is just a photo opportunity. It's not just a photo opportunity. Such kind of healing touch is required when the more peoples are people are in distraught. there are sense of alienations, and even now among certain sections, particularly among the Meitei communities,
Right.
the demand for revisiting the merger agreement with India has also been raised.
Right.
So so the things are getting more complicated,
Right.
and at this juncture, this kind of feeling touch, I think, will at least soothe some kind of temper.
Hmm. Right. And it definitely will provide a healing touch, and especially at a time when the entire country has been saying that Prime Minister should break his silence. But what I don't understand, and I'm going to ask that question of Sanjay Rana, that Sanjay, what stops Prime Minister from at least making an appeal to the cookies, to the Meiteis, that please calm down, bring down the tempers, a solution is at hand, or maybe in some time we will try and find a solution. What stops the Prime Minister really from making this appeal? So many days have passed. He broke the silence only after that video got viral of the women who got paraded naked. What stops him from making an appeal? It would have a difference. It would make a difference. In Corona times, we have seen he says "Tali bajao, thali bajao," and the entire nation does that. So why not make that appeal in Manipur as well?
Good afternoon, Nilu, and good afternoon, fellow panel. We need to understand very important for all of us to understand the demographic and geography of Northeast. Obviously, I did my studies in Arunachal Pradesh. Mr. Chakma was sitting here, and he understand what was the scenario is. If you look at the current scenario, Meitei and Cookies, Meitei has been demanding reservation not from today, obviously demanding since independent. Number one. Number two, when we talk about the population about Manipur, 53% is Meitei and 45% Cookies and rest Nagas and others. So the 53% population are living in 10% land, okay, and they cannot go and buy a land in the hills. So that is, obviously clashes are there since ages.
I'll come to you,
And
Fawaz. Yes.
yeah,
Go ahead. Go ahead.
these clashes are there from since ages, and these governments, those whosoever the 20 members parliamentarians are going and visiting and try to give a healing touch to these folks, these guys need to answer, especially Congress should give answer why its scenario is there, why the crisis is there, why they have implemented inner line permit in these states, 7 states. I'm not talking about Assam at this point. If I look at the Arunachal Pradesh, I was doing a study there. I used to get inner line permit to go inside. The same thing is applicable in Manipur. So all the incidences could have been handled differently. This is number one. Number two, we need to look at why the crises are there at this point of time. Obviously, crises are there because of that angle as well. When we talk about this rape of two women, it's not a rape of two women. It's a slap on 140 crore people face. I'm totally agree with you, because rape is a rape, whether it's happening in Rajasthan, whether it's happening in Manipur, or happening in any part of India. We should condemn and we should stand behind that, and uh, and we should punish the people, those who are responsible for the same. I'm coming to the main question: why Prime Minister is not taking any action? Obviously, government has taken fantastic action, and they have appointed Mr. Kuldeep Singh, who was ex-CRPF chief, on 5th of May 2023. And if you look at scenario has been changed, obviously it was got controlled. But the incidents happened, the video which we got on 20th of July, it was on 4th of May's video. And also we need to understand what all exactly happened. We know how many people are moved from their places. More than 50,000 people, 200 people are get killed, and more than 10 Meitei community women get raped. So rape is a rape. We cannot do the politics on the rape, and we cannot be selective for one person and not
You still didn't answer my
about.
question. Sanjay, you still didn't answer my question. What you are saying, most of the BJP spokespersons have been repeating the same thing over and over every day on the TV channels. But my question to you was a very pinpointed question. What stops Prime Minister from making an appeal? Why can't he open his mouth and make an appeal to the cookies and the Meiteis? Why can't he do that?
Prime Minister obviously had sent some message to the people for sure. If not mentioning on Twitter or coming on the television, doesn't mean that Prime Minister is not concerned or Bharatiya Janata Party government is not concerned. Obviously, they are concerned. That's why Mr. Amit Shah was parking himself for almost 4 days.
BJP is concerned, and that is why you order a CBI inquiry against the investigation which has been started by your own government. You have your own government, no? And you have started a CBI inquiry. So which means you do not have faith. No, Sanjay, let's admit that do you have faith in the investigation of the Biren Singh government?
It's not a matter of faith. It's a matter of investigation. CBI is an investigating agency, and he will do they will do the investigation not against the government, any government. They are doing the investigation. Those who are participating in this activity, whether from the Methi community, whether from Kuki community. If any incidences or any violence happen in any of the state, obviously investigation, NIA or CBR or any other investigating of agencies should come and investigate. It's not a matter of the government. The investigating officers or investigating agency not going to do investigation against the government.
But
Absolutely no.
would you hold Biren Singh accountable for what is happening? I'll come to you, Suhas, after this. Would you not
Yeah.
hold Biren Singh accountable? If he's the chief minister, the buck stops on the table of the chief minister. Why not take action against him?
No. If you're removing any chief minister will solve the problem? No. Do you think going to appoint a new chief minister will resolve the issue? No. At least he understands the problem of Manipur. He has been working there. He has been a chief minister of Manipur since long. He understands the DNA and issues of the Manipur. He can do the things better than the rest of the guys, those who wanted to come. So
Okay.
removing any person is not giving any
So removal
guarantee.
is not the solution. Okay, now let me go to Suhas. Suhas, you just heard what Sanjay is saying, that no matter what, but BJP will not remove Biren Singh. Now, do you think that that's enough? And I asked him a very pinpointed question: what stops Prime Minister Narendra Modi from making an appeal? He didn't answer that question. Yes,
Well,
Suhas.
see, I think for the time being, Biren Singh might be safe in terms of surviving the no confidence from the party or the MLS. But if you look at the events, when Home Minister Amit Shah visited, he established a peace committee. It was headed by the governor. So it was first expression of lack of faith in Biren Singh by Home Minister himself. The second expression of lack of faith in Biren Singh is the order of inquiry by the CBI. Because if the Manipur police were doing the job, then you do not hand it over to the Central Bureau of Investigation. So Home Minister has no faith in the government itself, but they are bound by politics, because at the end of the day, what matters is actually whether it will have any kind of political impact. Because if Biren Singh is removed, then it may say a signal that government has accepted the defeat, though everybody knows that when you cannot control riots after 60 days, 70 days, 75 days, people have lost faith in you. Please remember, Article 355 of the Constitution was imposed on 6th of May. The riots started on 3rd May. So within 2 days' time, you realize that the state alone cannot control the situation. And when 5th of May onwards, the riots continued for 2 months, what did you do? You did not assess your own 355. So that's why they have been creating this narrative that 10%, 53% people living in 10% areas. The cookies will say that the entire area which we have, whatever area, it's all reserved forest. We cannot use the land. These are hilly areas. So if you are saying that there is a land issue, that you are fomenting the conflict. And with respect to the drug trafficking, and Samir and myself, we are talking the other day, this problem did not start with ST status. This riots did not start with the drug trafficking. This problem did not start with illegal immigration. Only about 4,000 people from Myanmar as per the Manipur government. This problem started because of conflict over who will get the money for the drug trafficking.
Right.
This problem started when a human rights
Sanjay wants
activist...
to make a point. Sanjay wants to make a point, and then I'll come to Samir.
Whenever I said I never made this is an issue between the Methi and cookies. Obviously, the issue has been there since ages. And if you look at what High Court is given instruction, not a BJP government or central government, High Court has requested state government to look into the matter. Obviously, state government will look into the reservation matter and it will pass to central government. No, High Court cannot decide anything. So we need to understand why this kind of violence happened. And when he was talking about implementation of 355, it is implemented on 6th of May. And from 5th of May, as I mentioned, that Kuldeep Singh has been appointed and he is He's a consultant. He's driving everything. And within a 10 days, everything has been controlled. Look at the India. If you go to any riot, any violence,
But
it
don't you
takes
think
a
that the
couple of
appointment
times.
That's
came very
No, no,
absolutely
late?
wrong. No, that is
Sanjay,
absolutely
the
wrong.
appointment
no,
came very
no,
late.
no, no, no,
The
no.
appointment
No,
came very
no,
late. The ethnic clashes started on
you
May
tell
3rd.
me, no, no, May 3rd, do you think government will take immediate action? It take 2-3 days to implement the process. And on the 5th of 10 p.m. night, 5th Kuldeep
No,
Singh
no,
has
no,
been
no. I
appointed
think
as
this.
the
Do you
government.
remember,
No, I
Sanjay,
think
how many days Godhra was controlled in?
no.
Godhra was controlled
No,
in
no, no.
4 days, right? Delhi riots in 3 days. You have, if you want, if you have a willingness, you can control the riots.
Absolutely. No, no. It takes 2 to 3 days to control the things. If you look at the scenario, last month I'll give you a couple of scenarios. Assam rifle has been deployed in Manipur, and the women wouldn't allow them to go inside the villages. You have seen the videos and all. So clashes were there from both the sides. The issue is not right now who is doing what. The problem is that the trust between the two communities is not at all there. So we need to develop a trust, because anyway, if it's a two community, one is a Hindu, one is a Christian, doesn't matter. It's a two community.
Now
We need to create a trust, and whatever the trust has been broken, we need to bring back. Till the time we are not going to
Now
bring
let me
back,
take
we
your
are not
point.
able to
I'm
address it.
running short of time, Sanjay. I have to go to Samir now. That you are saying that there is a huge trust deficit between the Kukis and the Metis. Now, as long as Biren Singh is there, can that trust deficit be really bridged, Samir, in any way?
Before answering to this question, I would just like to clarify few points raised by panelists from the BJP, Mr. Rana. He had mentioned about inner line permit, how this kind of things has been fomenting trouble. So let me point it out to him that if inner line permit BJP thinks it's so bad, why then during its regime the inner line permit has been introduced in Manipur during the BJP regime,
And
and
Dimapur
then
also.
it has been, now they are planning to bring it also in Dimapur in Nagaland, which was outside the purview of the inner line regulation. So BJP has this kind of double speak. They will blame something, but they will Aadhaar was bad, but they will implement Aadhaar. MG and Rega is bad, but they will keep on taking benefits of MG and Rega. Same thing happened with the inner line permit. Inner line permit, if they are so opposed to inner line permit, why don't they just remove it? Now it's 9 years the BJP is ruling this country. Instead of removing inner line permit, which they think is bad, I'm not saying it's bad or good.
Right.
If they think it's bad,
No,
why
no,
don't you remove
no, no.
it? Instead of removing it, they are introducing newer areas under inner line regulation, and Manipur is one of the new fresh area which has been brought under inner line regulation during the BJP regime.
Right.
And
And
British
now
didn't
to
bring it.
answer,
Yes.
and
So
now
Suhas is
to
saying
answer,
something. Right. Yes. Go ahead, Samir. Just finish your answer.
and now to answer your this whether removing Biren Singh is a solution or not. See, this is don't you think this is a natural process? Because first you introduced 355 to bring the situation under control. When 355 has failed, naturally you will go for 356. Now it is high time that 356 is imposed in Manipur, and the present state government is removed, so that there is a sense of, at least, I'm not saying Biren Singh, I'm not even going into that debate whether Biren Singh
right.
has failed or not. But
Hmm.
this is a natural course when a leader has lost the confidence of another very community. Don't you think it is natural that some person should be, I'm not saying that even
Very surprising to hear that,
I'm
gentleman.
confused, Sanjay. I'm coming to you.
some
I'm coming to you one
Meitei,
by one. One by one, please. Yes, Samir. Complete your point. Then I'll go to Suhas.
even some Meitei leader can be made, at least leadership change, so that some
Right.
sorts of
Right.
confidence building
And
measures.
no such, and what you're saying, Samir, no such signal is going to the people as far as the cookies and the Metis are concerned. Suhas, a very brief intervention. You were raising your hand, and then I'll come to for the last word to Sanjay. Yes.
No,
Yes.
whatever Sanjay was saying, that after the appointment of Kuldeep Singh as the advisor, the situation has improved. That is absolutely false. I mean, so let us not say that, after appointment of Kuldeep Singh, the situation has improved. Please look at the data. And if we deny the reality, that is not going to change. So what we have been seeing is the trivialization of the issues. Of course, violence against every woman anywhere has to be condemned. But let us remember one thing. Manipur is a situation, 70,000 people have been displaced. About 200 people have been killed. 4,000 arms we are looted or lost or given up by the security forces. 6 lakhs ammunition, and everybody is armed to the teeth, whether Meitei community and Kuki community. And if you compare that situation with a sporadic incident which takes place on Delhi or etc. or Rajasthan, etc., it's extremely unfortunate that you are not even understanding the seriousness of the conflict in Manipur. That it's different. That's
And
it.
after listening to both of you, both Samir and Suhas, Sanjay, my question to you is that is BJP trying to push Manipur into a further and a deeper crisis?
No, absolutely not. First of all, both the panelists are a little bit confused. They are talking about the issues.
Is BJP
Both the panelists, both the panelists are
you a
confused.
ground situation.
Both the panelists, both the panelists are confused.
Panelists are giving you a ground situation.
Allow me to speak. Can you allow me to speak? If you have a question, hear me out then. Simple as that. They are saying that Biren Singh belongs to some community. Any chief minister or any prime minister or any minister will belong to some community. How can you say that he's belonging to some community, the other community doesn't have a trust? That means if suppose tomorrow if I'm appointing Rahul Gandhi as a prime minister, I don't trust Rahul Gandhi. That doesn't mean we have to remove Rahul Gandhi. Community will be there. Leadership will come from some community, from some caste. But you cannot say that one community doesn't have a trust. What do you mean by doesn't have a trust?
No, you got it completely wrong, Mr. Rana. You got completely wrong.
Hang on. I didn't interrupt you. Hang on. Number two, when my other panelist was saying, 4,000 weapon has been looted. Who has looted the weapon? Obviously, cookies has looted the weapon.
That is you are not saying. They are lost in the information. So that is why you completely know. I'm sorry. Read the records. Read the records. Read the records. No. You are completely wrong. You are biased. You are biased.
You are looking at it from one angle. Why are you talking about cookies? Why are you not talking about cookies?
Mr. Rana,
cookies and the mayor is responsible.
One second, there is no Mr. Rana, cool down. Mr. Rana,
listen.
Mr. Rana,
they are Hindu. You're targeting them.
That is the point. That is the point, Mr. Rana. That is the point, Mr. Rana. You are biased.
Okay. No. I'm running short of time. But that's what is happening.
Mr. Rana, you
Sanjay, I cannot allow you this, please. Sanjay, no, I cannot allow you this. Sanjay, I cannot allow this, please. BJP has a habit of not listening. No, please. Just hang up, please. You finish your point. I'm running out of time now, please. Finish your point. BJP has a habit of not listening to people, not checking the records. BJP doesn't check the records. BJP doesn't check the records.
Simple as that. If you are asking questions, then you have a patience to listen to the person who is asking the
wrong facts.
You cannot ask. How can you run the agenda? You are putting the wrong facts. You are putting the wrong facts. You are putting the wrong facts. What do you mean by that? Biren Singh ko hata do.
Sanjay, please, we cannot allow this. We cannot allow this. Okay. One brief point.
You are from some community. You are from community. You are from some community. You belong to some caste. Hang on. Why should I listen to you?
Sanjay, nobody is audible this way, please. Nobody is audible.
Okay. Simple as that. The chief minister has been elected by the people of Manipur. People are elected. Biren Singh, not you elected.
So I have to end the program now. No. Okay. It cannot go on like this. I have to end the program. And from whatever
you are not talking about Meitei people. You're just talking about 70,000 people have been displaced.
Samir, just calm
displaced.
down.
Eh?
BJP's
For-
approach towards
No,
money.
no, no, it's
Very
not
evident.
BJP approach.
Sanjay,
It's your
Sanjay,
approach,
I
Nilu.
cannot allow this,
It's
please.
your approach, Nilu. You're talking one-sided story. Why not? You're a
No,
journalist.
no,
We are
no.
not
Why not
carrying a
talking like you're a
one-sided
journalist?
story, please. We are
You
not
are
carrying a
telling a
one-sided
one-sided
story.
story, Nilu.
One sec.
Why are you
Your
not discussing
answer,
about killing of 200
is
people?
evident of the
Why
fact
not
that this
talking
is the
about
kind of
100
approach
women?
BJP has. I'll have to end the program here. I'll have to end the
This is your
program. You
wish.
cannot go on
But
like
if
this,
you are a
please.
journalist, you
You
need to talk
cannot go
from both the
on like
sides.
this,
No,
please.
no,
You
I will go
cannot
on
Oh,
because you are
he's telling
targeting
lies.
I'll have to end the
He's
Metis.
broadcast
getting
here,
lies.
You're
please. No,
targeting
no, 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 no,
Meti.
no, no.
Getting
You're
lies.
targeting Meti.
Cannot allow
Mr.
this.
Rana,
You're
you
targeting
cannot go.
We
Meti.
cannot allow
You
this,
said
please.
that
Your lies
you
should
are
be
Sanjay,
followed.
supporting,
Rana.
you are
Mr. Rana, your lies should be
Congress
followed.
is the responsible for
Okay,
all the
one appeal
incidents
to the
happening in
viewers
Mr.
who are
Rana,
Congress.
watching this
Mr. Rana, your
program.
government itself
Please
is
tell us your
pulling
feedback.
out your
No,
lies.
Mr.
Thank you to the
Pulkasta,
federal.
you
Thank
cannot
you so
Your
much,
decide.
Fast.
government,
You are
Chairman. Thank you
Mr.
so
targeting
much.
Government
Metis.
Shata.
You are
Sorry,
Mr. No,
guys,
no,
let's
I
end the
have
You
one
are
program.
the
more
one
We'll
who
have
is
to end the
question.
targeting,
broadcast.
Mr. Rana.
You are
Thank you. Thank you.
you
No, no,
are
no, no, no. We
self-serving
cannot
interest.
allow
no,
this.
no, 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 no. You
Thank
are
you.
No,
Mr.
no,
Rana.
you
Look,
deciding. You are
give the
targeting one
statement.
people
Listen
itself
to the
because
statement
Please,
you are
it's a
Samir,
going to
just
mixed
calm
say.
ethnic
down.
community.
Samir,
Samir,
just calm
Samir,
down.
Why are you
Samir,
Samir.
targeting?
calm down.
Why
Thank
targeting?
you so much. We'll have to end the broadcast here. Thank you.
Come.
Thank you, please.
Subscribe to the Federal's YouTube page for more news and updates.